What's up, guys? Welcome back to Keto Rewind. I'm Jess, the chaos coordinator. I'm just kidding. But anyways, today is a full day of eating keto, and I am tracking total carbs instead of net carbs. And this week, my kids have been in virtual school. So that means they're on school all day from like 8 to 3. Two different grade levels, like 8 live Zoom meetings a day. It's insanity. So with that said, this week is going to be a little bit more geared towards meal prep. So this is a really delicious recipe that I'm starting off for lunch. I'm cooking this, today's actually Sunday. I'm cooking this for my lunches during the week. So I'm going to flip the camera around and show you how to make Tex-Mex baked eggs. Okay, so this is the leftover ground beef that I used a Tex-Mex seasoning, and I'm going to put the link in the recipe, all of that in the cards and down below. This is what we made yesterday. So this is the leftover for the meal prep. I also have a block of cheddar's cheese. This one has no total carbs, so it's a great one to use. It's a sweet cheddar by Kerrygold, and it's been aged, so it's just a good cheese. So anyways, and also the star of the show, of course, eggs. So I am going to measure 3 ounces in each of these oven-safe dishes, and then we're just going to add 2 eggs on top, and then I'm going to top them with cheese. That's how easy it is. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on my scale, zero it out, and let's look for... The cool thing is the ground beef is already cooked. I mean, you could make this fresh, but this is a great way to use up leftovers, specifically ground meat, you know, for when you have like a Taco Tuesday night or something like that. It's just a great way to use up those tasty leftovers without having to waste food and such. So there's another 3 ounces right here. And I'm just measuring it because it's just making for calculating the macros a lot easier. So again, this bowl weighs a little less. So we're gonna go ahead and add another 3. All right, another 3. And I'm just, because it's cold, the fat that cooked on it is just a little hard. So I'm just chopping up those big hunks. But I'm not adding any fat into this because there's fat in this already. I left most of it in there. And then the last one. All right, there it is. This one only has 2 chunks. So next, I'm going to crack 2 eggs in each of the bowls. And I'm also going to preheat my oven to 350. So that's what that noise is in the background. Okay, so just crack the egg right in there. Let it marry with the flavors that are already in here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to measure out 1 ounce of cheese and sprinkle that on each of the bowls here. And I'm going to arrange the cheese right on top. Just like that, and do the next one. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to use my toaster oven. I'm going to go ahead. You can put these all 4 of these in the regular oven. It's the same temperature, 350 degrees, or use your air fryer, smart oven, convection oven. I can keep an eye on it better up here, so that's why I'm doing this. But a regular oven will work just fine. And there they are. There's all 4 of them in there, and we'll be back. And there is the baked eggs. Delicious. They're just cooling up here on the rack, and we will enjoy them. I just got out of the pool today, so don't mind the look. I've been swimming, and yeah, so I didn't feel like putting all the makeup on and all that stuff. So you know what? We're gonna be real today. So anyways, I'm gonna make a sheet pan chicken and vegetable dinner that goes with my total carb challenge for, I think this is day 2 maybe. I forget whatever the menu says, but I'm recording this a couple days ahead of you, obviously. So, but this is a quick and easy meal that you can just swap out the veggies, keep it fresh and new that way. And so it's gonna be a full day of eating on my total carb challenge. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and dice up some veggies for you. Got the squash. Then we have white onion, 167 grams. And 100 grams of Brussels sprouts. Okay, so I'm gonna put everything in this big Tupperware bowl. And next we're going to put some avocado oil on it and salt and pepper. Okay, so we have measured out our broccoli, our squash, the Brussels sprouts, the onion, and I also am gonna throw in tomato. My youngest daughter is obsessed with tomatoes right now, so we're doing some tomatoes for her. And because both kids love roasted carrots, I'm gonna throw in some carrots for them. But I'm not calculating this in my recipe because I'm just not gonna eat the carrots. But you do you. But personally, I don't want that. So here is the all diced up vegetables ready to go. You want them pretty uniform in size. But I'm gonna quickly go run over to the stove and preheat my oven at 400 degrees. Okay, so that is off, and I'm going to use this bowl and pour the oil, salt, and pepper on it. You want to measure your oil. Remember that using chicken with no skin, or this is a real lean cut of chicken. I'm just using chicken tenderloins. So I'm not gonna be worried about putting too much fat on here, but I am going to use, basically for measurement wise, I like to do 2 tablespoons per serving or per person in my recipes. I feel like that's a nice healthy dose of avocado oil, and that's a great source of good fat. And we're not afraid of fat in this house. So anyways, there's 4 of us eating this, so I'm gonna put 4 of these 2 tablespoon measuring spoons of avocado oil. But definitely measure your oil, because you're gonna really want to make sure you're tracking the fat. It does add up quick. I'm not saying I'm afraid of fat or anything, but when you're trying to lose weight, you do wanna watch your fat intake. So what I find is real helpful for me is I'll do the 2 tablespoons per person, and then I will see if it needs any more. You can always add more, but you don't want too much. And remember, the chicken juices are gonna cook with this, so it's not gonna need too much. So let me grab my salt and pepper here, and I'll link to this one on Amazon. I like this because it has both of them in one container. I like to use plenty of salt, so I'm gonna say probably a full teaspoon of salt, and then a nice, probably half teaspoon of pepper. And we're gonna go ahead and take some tongs. You can use your hands, but in this case, I'm just gonna use some tongs. So I'm just gonna make sure all of that oil is evenly coated and all the vegetables are nice and covered, because you do want to have nice coverage when it comes to, ooh, we did a jumper, the oil. And if it looks dry, I just add a little bit more, but it varies. So I don't want to just say exactly 2 tablespoons, because sometimes I go and add more, and it's gonna base off of what I've eaten in that day. So anyway, so that looks nice and coated. I'm going to take some avocado spray and spray my, I think this is 11 by 14 baking sheet. You want it enough where it's crowded, but not too crowded. Oh, looks like I need to get a new one. My sheet, this way we don't have anything stuck. Just a light coating. And then we're going to transfer all of this goodness onto the pan. Now we're gonna spread it out so that it's all getting its fair chance to get cooked. And we're gonna put the chicken right on top of this. It looks like it's just right with the amount of oil that I have on here. At the very end, I might drizzle a little bit more. But now I'm going to use this same bowl and put my chicken tenderloins in here and throw some spices on it and put them right on. So let's move this around so you can see it better, what exactly I'm doing here. And I have these carrots I'm just gonna add here around the edges for my kiddos. A couple carrots for each kiddo. They love roasted carrots. And you know what? It's okay in my book. My kids eat so healthy. Okay, so what I like about this scale is I can put a big bowl on it and the screen comes out so I can still see the scale and the screen. So I need at least probably 2 pounds of meat. So I'm not sure how many tenderloins that will actually turn into, but it just makes it so much easier to weigh and measure your food. So there's 15 ounces of chicken in that one. So I'm gonna definitely open up the second one because I wanted at least 2 pounds, but if we're a little shy, it's okay. The main thing is hit your protein macros. I like to use chicken tenders because they don't take so long to cook. They're easier to get the temperature right so that everything comes together at the same time. So that's 1 pound and 12 ounces right there. So let me throw this away. Okay, so I'm back. I'm gonna write down on my paper how much chicken I have. I always just write down what I put in my recipes. This way it makes it real easy to create the recipe in my carb manager, and then this way I have exactly what I ate. So my macros are spot on. So, all right, so we're gonna take some garlic powder. That was probably a ½ teaspoon. Some onion powder, probably the same amount, ½ teaspoon. Some Italian spice, Italian seasoning. I'm gonna do probably a tablespoon of this. And salt and pepper. And now, making a big mess here, I'm gonna take my tongs and I'm going to do the same thing. Get it all mixed up. So that everything is evenly coated. And the cool thing is, there's a little bit of residual oil in here from when the vegetables were in here, so the chicken's gonna get a little bit of that on there as well. So it doesn't stick with everything else. So now that my chicken is nice and mixed up, I'm gonna take my pan and just place my chicken tenders on top. And it's okay if it sinks down in there. It's just gonna make everything taste so yummy. The main thing is get them on there. Don't make it perfect. There is no such thing as perfection. And that's what makes it taste so good, because it's not perfect. There's beauty in the mess, in my opinion. All right, so there we have it. I'm gonna pop this in the oven. I'll check on it in about 25 minutes, give it a stir, and then I'll meet you right back here. Okay, so this is 25 minutes. The chicken is done, but I want my veggies a little bit browner. So I'm gonna pull the chicken off and just stick the veggies under the broiler. Okay, so I pulled the chicken off and put some foil on it, and now I'm gonna stir this and stick it under the old broiler. Okay, I'm gonna do 6 ounces. I just chopped up, actually Kyle chopped up for me. Let's look at 5 ounces of chicken. 6 is plenty. I'll do 6. And the rest is gonna be veggies. Okay, so I wanted a little bit more char in my veggies, so I put them under the broiler for about 5 minutes. That's a completely optional step. I just like the char on my veggies. So now I'm gonna pop these on my plate. There is my plate. I did about 7 ounces of the veggies and 6 ounces of chicken. So I can't wait to dig in. Okay, so here's my full day of eating. I was, I guess, 20. My carb manager calculates 19 grams of total carbs, but I'm going by 20, just because it's hard enough to stay under 20. So I hit 20 today, so I'm cool with that, even if, according to Carb Manager, I'm 1 carb over. But anyways, I had the Tex-Mex baked eggs. I created a recipe for that because it was real easy to do that. It's something I have all the time. This was an individual serving. So I have the 3 ounces of the beef, the cheese, and the 2 eggs, and then some seasoning. So and that made 1 serving, and basically that was 2 total carbs for that. And then the next was the sheet pan chicken and veggies. I had 4 servings on that sheet pan, and here is all of the totals that I put in. And being that there were 4 servings, I had 1 serving of that, and it ended up being 17 total carbs. Those vegetables add up real quick. And then I ended up, right before I served it, I did a little bit extra olive oil on the top. I have avocado in here. I meant to put olive oil. Olive oil is a great finishing oil, so avocado. But after I cook something, I use olive oil to basically flavor, or just as a drizzle. So I don't really cook at high heats with olive oil. Avocado oil is used for the high heats. So, and then, which this recipe included the chicken and everything else. And then, of course, I had my keto coffee, which is the unflavored collagen, the heavy cream, and coffee. So that was it. Overall, I had a great day of eating. I'm really liking this. It was so easy to make that sheet pan chicken and veggies. It was 1 pan, throw everything in the dishwasher, and I was done. So anyways, here's another day. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this full day of eating, plus macros and all that jazz. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow for another full day of eating, tracking total carbs. I'm Jess, and you're watching Keto Rewind. Bye-bye.